President Trump speaking from the White House press briefing room. After a brief moment of silence, he pretty immediately made this political, blaming DEI and the Democrats on that mid-air collision without providing evidence. He was a little bit all over the map, talking about DEI policies in the FAA, but then questioning the helicopter and the altitude and why it didn't, in his words, stop or make another move. I want to go to our experts, including our CNN aviation correspondent Pete Montine and CNN's Renee Marsh. Pete, bottom line, are DEI policies at the FAA to blame?
I put my head in my hands, Pam, when the president said that. This is something that has been pushed by the far right for a few months now, that DEI policies are to blame in a degradation of safety in aviation in the United States. But frankly, the president is getting out ahead of his skis here. What he has said is not only unprofessional, unpresidential, inconsiderate of the status of this investigation, but frankly, it is just unhinged. That he could even say with any sort of certainty that diversity, equity, and inclusion policies had any part to play in this accident. Remember that 67 people are dead. I hate to get so upset here, but this is something that investigators will really need to pick apart piece by piece, and that is going to take some really significant time. We're not even 24 hours after this crash. We're barely even 12 hours after this crash. And he is saying with a lot of certainty that the blame is on DEI, and the blame is in some ways on air traffic control and air traffic controller hiring. I have to feel for the air traffic controllers in the tower at Reagan National Airport who had to essentially sit there helplessly and make the call to first responders to say we have a serious aircraft crash at 8:48 last night. Let's parse out some more of this, because it's really significant here that President Trump also put some of the blame on Democrats. He said that Transportation Secretary, now former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, engaged in BS. He actually used the full word live on television. The fact of the matter is that Transportation Secretary Buttigieg was very hard on aviation safety. There was a day-long safety stand down because of the rise of near collisions on the runways at commercial airports nationwide that really took off in 2023. I did a sit-down interview with Buttigieg. He was well-versed on the topic. He knew the points. He knew where the blind spots were, and the FAA and the Department of Transportation from the top down of the Biden administration was taking that problem very seriously. He also was incredibly hard on airlines and consumer protections. The big bottom line here is that there are so many vacancies in the federal government when it comes to aviation safety. There is no administrator of the FAA right now. President Trump has not put somebody forth for that. There is no administrator of the Transportation Security Administration. The Trump administration needs to put somebody forth for that as well. Sean Duffy is the Transportation Secretary. He spoke articulately. I will point out that I did not hear from NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy, who was in the press room. That is really significant, especially during something like this. It is a huge tragedy, and I do not use that word lightly.
It is a huge tragedy. We still don't have the answers. As our Caitlin Collins asked him, President Trump, aren't you getting ahead of this investigation because we don't have those answers? And when he was pressed further about how he can blame DEI, when he also can say in the same sentence he doesn't know if it's the air traffic controller's fault, raising questions about the helicopter pilot, he said it's just common sense. But again, what we need to remember here are there are 67 families who are mourning because of this mid-air collision, who are looking for answers, who don't want politics, they want answers, and they are mourning the loss of their loved ones. And that is what we need to remember in this moment.